Hello and welcome to Plus TV Africa. I am Felicity Ezewike with the news on the hour. A top source in the presidency has claimed that President Muhammadu Buhari is unhappy with the 2018 budget due to the huge amount injected by the lawmakers and diverted to other causes. The source stated that despite the distortion to it, the president will append his signature to the budget. He further claimed that apart from increasing the budget from the initial 8.6 trillion naira proposed by Buhari to 9.12 trillion naira, the National Assembly has as usual added new projects which have nothing whatsoever to do with the federal budget and funding. The padding in the budget might be higher than previous years, the sources said, adding, however, that the president is trying to prevent further delays and stifling of the economy, given the fact that the year is almost gone. The Supreme Council of Bishops has written President Muhammadu Buhari asking him to pardon 5 young men sentenced to death by a court for killing a herdsman. The letter is titled Special Request for Presidential Pardon, Killing by Hanging of 5 Young Men, and signed by founding primate Abuja, Nigeria, Archbishop Dr. P. Sunday and other top bishops. The bishop's letter from the World Episcopal Headquarters in Texas, U.S., was routed through the African Episcopal Headquarters in Lagos. The bishops noted that the nation has suffered bloodshed from the killings of innocent citizens across the northern and middle belt state, which they attributed to the frequent attacks by militia headsmen. While stating that till date, no adequate justice has been meted out on these headsmen, the bishop strongly condemned the death sentence passed on the 5 young men by a Yola High Court on June 11, 2018, for murdering a herder in retaliation for the several killings in the area. The representative of Kaduna Central in the National Assembly, Senator Shehu Sani, has confirmed speculations regarding his defection from the All Progressive Congress APC. He made this known while declaring his intention to join the Kaduna State governorship race in 2019. He said although he would be running, it would not be on the platform of the APC, describing the party as being on the verge of collapse. He expressed his fright for the party, and said it is rather unfortunate that what APC accuses the People's Democratic Party of doing is what is occurring in the APC. According to him, if the people of Kaduna want him to remain in the Senate, he would be left with no other choice than to obey them. Otherwise, he would opt for the governorship position. Troubling reports from the UK Sun yesterday revealed that Boko Haram terrorists are being sent for training in the Middle East in what has been described as an exchange program. The report also revealed fears of strong ties between militants in Nigeria and the UK, but said the Nigerian forces are part of training by over 150 British troops to stem out and stop the IS terror group from taking the West African region captive. Confirming these speculations was a Nigerian Air Force commander in Kaduna who said local jihadi groups were learning from IS and pledging solidarity to its black flag. Seconding this was Isaac Subi, a group captain who said IS had an exchange program for fighters who come to train in Nigeria, while some train in Yemen and Syria, and after completing their training return to teach others. Hence the warning by Britain against possible attacks on its territories by extremists, of which Boko Haram is not an exception. The Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAM, says its 2018 admission policy meeting will take place on June 26 to kickstart the admission process into Nigerian tertiary institutions. JAM Head of Media and Information, Dr. Fabian Benjamin, who made this known on Monday in Lagos, said the meeting is to define all modalities for the admission of qualified candidates for the 2018-2019 academic session. All of the Southwest governors and critical stakeholders are expected at the meeting, which is to take place in Osun for the first time. A live coverage of the meeting will air on the Nigerian Television Authority to ensure there is no misrepresentation of facts or information. The public is also advised to follow the proceedings for first-hand information on how the admission will be conducted and the requirements. He assured that JAMB will continue to bring to the table innovations and reforms that would give the candidates an advantage. Delta State Governor Ifeanyi Okowa has been called upon to look into the recurrent annual fire incidents at the Ogbijo market in the Warri Southwest local government area of the state to prevent a reoccurrence. The call was made by the national president of Delta State-based rights group, the Ijaw People's Development Initiative, Mr. Austin Ozobo, after the Friday night incident that razed no less than 1,000 shops at the market. Ozobo further urged the state government, Delta State Oil Producing Areas Development Commission and the Warri Southwest Council to provide relief materials for the victims. Soldiers have rescued 25-year-old Agezichi Ubonna, who is alleged to have killed his mother, from being lynched in Obingwan local government area of Abia State. The soldiers attached to 144th Battalion, 14th Brigade Headquarters of the Nigerian Army, Ohafia, saved the young man after the community youths almost beat him to death over allegations he had killed his 52-year-old mother. Said to be the last son of his mother, Ubonna is also accused of having sexual relations with his sisters and other blood relations, and even impregnating one of them, an act regarded as sacrilegious in his community. This unholy liaison was said to be the cause of an argument with his mother, which led to her unfortunate demise at his hands. One of the soldiers who helped to salvage the situation said Ubonna has confessed to the crime and has been handed over to the police for further investigation and prosecution. And on the foreign scene, the Ugandan government has set aside 15 billion shillings to purchase land next to the Catholic, Anglican and Muslim Matters shrines in Namugongo, Wakiso district. The Minister of State, Tourism, Geoffrey Kiwanda, also said that the huge sum has already been included and approved in the 2018-2019 financial year's budget, which begins next month. The project will be part of government's initiative to upgrade the holy sites in order to attract more tourists and increase foreign exchange earnings. According to him, different ministries and government agencies would be responsible for executing the different parts of the planned project, from road construction, water provision, direction of malls and car parks, and others. In an earlier development, Tourism Minister Professor Ephraim Kamuntu also noted that the government has realized that as Uganda's Martyrs shrines are a great tourist magnet, upgrading the shrines would further increase earnings from the faith-related tourism, which is currently at 10 trillion shillings to $4.5 billion, which will amount to 17 trillion shillings by 2020. The bodies of 5 migrants and 186 rescued others, including women and children, have been recovered by the Libyan Coast Guard in separate operations at the Mediterranean Sea. Ayub Jessam, Navy spokesman, says the migrants were found on Sunday and Monday and have since been taken to a Navy base in the capital Tripoli and a refugee camp in the town of Tawega. Libya has been a frequently used route to Europe for migrants fleeing poverty and conflict in Africa and the Middle East in recent times. And in business, the government of Uganda has declared that it has introduced Islamic banking to aid with cheap credit. Deputy Secretary to the Treasury, Mr. Patrick Ochilap, said this while addressing the business community at the 3rd Annual Uganda Revenue Authority Budget Breakfast meeting yesterday. According to the Ministry of Finance, the framework for the implementation of Islamic banking has already been developed and will be operational in the country by October. Mr. Ochilap stated that though Parliament had passed the Islamic banking law, it lacked guidelines on how to implement it. He explained that they have, however, set it up and hope that by the last quarter of 2018, Islamic banking will be operational. Up next is entertainment news with Tukumbo.
In entertainment, Kirk Franklin shocked his fans by revealing that his sister has been sentenced to 30 years in prison. It all began in 2015 when the gospel singer Kirk Franklin disclosed that his sister was a drug addict who was incarcerated in a prison in Texas for over 10 years because she was arrested alongside her boyfriend, who was a drug dealer but didn't just introduce his sister into selling drugs but selling herself as well. He further revealed that after she was released from prison, she fell back right into the habit of drug use, using her body as a means to fund the habit. Although Kirk hasn't revealed why she has been sentenced to 30 years imprisonment for now, a lot of his fans are wondering what she could have done to warrant a sentence of 30 years, as the average sentence for manslaughter is 2 to 12 years, while the average for second-degree murder is 10 to 25 years. Sameth Billy, the gregarious personal manager who shepherded the careers of multi-platform superstars Joan Rivers and Cher, dies at 66. He also worked with the likes of Donny Osmond, Newton John, Casey and the Sunshine Band. He died on Monday. Sameth started his organization in 1983 and died at New York Presbyterian Weill Cornell Medical Center after battling with cancer. His sister, actress Barbara Sameth, confirmed he was born in Brooklyn in 1951 and he moved to Los Angeles at age 12 with his family. His father, Philip Sameth, was a merchandising pioneer with Walt Disney Productions. At 21 years old, he had gotten his first work in the mailroom of a Hollywood PR firm and used the job to connect with Osmond Brothers. Billy got several jobs afterwards, linked him to other career paths and paved the way for him to meet different icons like Michael Jackson, Dolly Parton, Neil Diamond, and many others. Rihanna, who was reported to have broken up with her billionaire Saudi boyfriend less than 2 weeks ago, has been spotted with an African who allegedly is very rich, according to reports. Sources say they were seen leaving a nightclub in Mayfair called Scotch after a night out together. The African man was spotted getting into the singer's car before they were driven away. Ghanaian actress Rosamund Brown, who has been causing quite a buzz on social media after her interview on The Delay Show, revealed that she slept with 24 veteran actors. The popular actress also revealed she had had her first sugar daddy at the age of 16, narrating the story of how a man saw her on the road after she got kicked out of school for her inability to pay her school fees. She said he took her home, gave her money, and sent her back to school and didn't have sex with her until she was 16. These revelations have caused quite a stir, as most of her fans are backlashing her and some are proud that she's real and honest. And that's it on entertainment. Up next is Udoka with sports news.
Good afternoon and welcome to Sports Updates on Plus TV Africa. I am Udoka Njoku. Still looking at the World Cup. Everything going down at the World Cup. Interesting moments in Russia 2018. We saw interesting games yesterday and, of course, Germany losing out to Mexico and all that. But let's talk about the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Amaju Pinnick is confident that the Super Eagles still have a chance of getting to the knockout rounds of the World Cup in Russia, if only they can believe in themselves and lift themselves even after losing 2-0 to Croatia in their opening game. The next game for Nigeria will be on Friday against Iceland. And the plane conveying Saudi Arabia's Russia 2018 World Cup players suffered an apparent engine fire before it arrived safely in the southern Russian city of Rostov-on-Don. That was yesterday. And the fire was merely an accident. That was what was a tweet that was put up from the national team's verified Twitter account, while another said that the team was heading to their residence safely. And of course, we think it was good that they were actually safe in that one. Looking forward to their next game. And for injury updates, Brazilian superstar Neymar missed training early Monday morning following concerns about his left foot to hand the five-time world champions fresh concerns about his fitness. And the Paris Saint-Germain forward lasted for the entire duration of the game as Brazil played out a 1-1 draw with Switzerland in their opening match at the ongoing FIFA World Cup in Russia. He was the subject of rough treatment from the Swiss and was fouled 10 times during the game, which was his first competitive match since he suffered a metatarsal injury in Paris Saint-Germain colours in February. And the ex-Barcelona man suffered 10 fouls alone in the Group F clash on Sunday night. And according to the Brazilian Football Federation, Neymar sat out training alongside Thiago Silva and Paulinho, and as he stayed back in the gym and worked hard with the physiotherapist. And on Neymar's fitness, the team doctor Rodrigo Lasma said it's nothing to worry about. It's normal to do it after the match. Looking forward to Brazil's next game. And in the transfer news, Arsenal will complete the £20 million swoop for Bayer Leverkusen goalkeeper Ben Leno. That will be later today, as the club confirmed. And the 26-year-old has agreed a 5-year deal with the Emirates club and will join United Emirates Revolution. The Gunners, barring a last-minute hitch, will complete the signing by the close of play on Tuesday, and talks have been ongoing for several weeks, with the formalities now just left to complete. And the move casts serious doubt over Peter Cech's future at the club, and the former Chelsea star has established himself as Arsenal's first-choice keeper in recent seasons. But Leno has arrived expecting to be number one, and Napoli have an interest in taking Peter Cech on loan, but have others as priority. And Cech, who is 36, has just 12 months remaining on his contract with Arsenal, and it is not clear whether Emirates wants to keep the veteran beyond that time right there at Arsenal. But that's all for now on Sport Updates on Plus TV Africa. For more news and sports, of course, join us on our website, plustvafrica.com. Do enjoy the rest of your day. Back to you, Felicity.
Thanks to Doka, and that's the news at this hour. My name is Felicity Ezewike. Thanks for watching. Do enjoy the rest of your day.